Welcome back to our RX Muscle Species Nutrition Radical Body Transformation Update. We are at 4 weeks already. That's 1 month in. I'm here with James Hergott and a bunch of cool people. We have coaches and competitors. James, first I want to go to you. I'm very happy so far with the results I'm seeing with the competitors. I think it's going really good. We're getting a lot of good feedback on this competition. Give me your update from your perspective.
Dave, another great group this week. We just passed the 4-week mark and we had everybody submit their 1 month photos, and people are looking pretty crazy. It's amazing in 4 weeks how much of a difference is already happening, and everybody's supporting each other, and it's a beautiful thing. And today we've got 2 coaches, and we've got Mark Baby Boomer Fit Lessier, and Mark is a former military, former cop, and he helps people that are middle-aged and beyond get fit. And we have our own, last week we had Moko. This week we have our own J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, our coach. And she's got somebody she's representing as well. So we've got 3 competitors for you and 2 coaches today.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Moko, after she was on the show and I started talking, I sent her a bunch of supplements, and I'm actually coaching her now, so for her competition. So that's kind of cool. That we kind of made that connection on this show. So sometimes, you know, you never know where you're going to meet people and where you're going to meet your next coach or your next competitor. And so that was a good relationship. Let's go to Mark, though, because Mark, Baby Boomer, I like that nickname. Mark, you're a former military guy. You know, you're working with a competitor that I'm very familiar with. He's a friend of mine, Erensto. And we know, you probably know him. You've seen the videos we put up. He drives a truck. We're going to bring him on in a second. And, you know, one of Ernesto's goals is to go into the Marines, or go to the, you know, try to get into the Marines. And that's one of your specialties, which I found kind of interesting that connection was put together like that.
Yes, it is. Hey, Ernesto, how you doing? I'm glad you showed up.
Good afternoon. Can you hear it? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, you're there. You're there, brother.
Are you driving on like Highway 95 or something like that?
Yeah.
Highway 14 to Hatchet,
there you go.
California.
I knew it. I knew he had to be somewhere. He's a truck driver. So.
Yeah. That's Ernesto's ultimate goal is to get into the Marines, and that's exactly how we're training him physically. As you know, Dave, I mean, you're doing his nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, brother.
You know what the funny thing is? Ernesto contacted me and said, Dave, you know, should I be Mark put me on this, you know, really crazy, you know, workout plan, and he showed me the plan, and I said, and I called Mark up, and Mark and I talked, and you know, he said, you know, Erensto wants to go into the Marines, and he goes, and that's what I do. I train people for Marine boot camp. I'm like, well, Erensto, there's no better person to advise you on how to train than Mark. I said, so
yeah.
How has that training been going? Because that's a totally different way of working out than the conventional bodybuilder, you know, workouts.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming because I have to drive all night and I have no energy. No, and especially no carbs right now.
Right. Now, how much weight have you lost already in these first 4 weeks?
27 pounds plus.
Nice. We love to hear that. Now, Mark, you said to me, and I asked, and Ernesto, I don't have a problem saying this in front of you because I'm fully transparent. I had a little concern. I said, Mark, do you really think that Ernesto will be able to lose enough and get in good enough shape to actually go and into the Marines and go through boot camp? And you actually said, if he follows this plan I give him, he will absolutely not only be qualified, but maybe overqualified to get through that boot camp. And you still believe that wholeheartedly, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Is it going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. Is it going to take a lot of work? Absolutely. As long as he keeps following the nutritional plan 100% like he is right now, he is dropping the weight. His stats as far as his strength and endurance are rapidly increasing. But he's got a long road ahead. It's going to be 6 months to 9 months before he's ready for that. This stuff doesn't happen overnight.
Right. Now, what is the basis, just briefly, like, of the training program, just for people who might be wondering, you know, who are watching?
What's the basis for his training program? Yeah. Well, I have him on what's called a 4-day split, and the 4-day split is basically working out 6 days a week. Quick example: day 1, chest and tris; day 2, shoulders; day 3, back and bis; day 4, legs; and then day 5 repeats back to chest,
But it's high intensity. It's not like your typical straight sets of bodybuilding.
Well, no. So for the strength training, I actually have them doing time under tension. Okay, because I want to create as much strength as possible. Now, with that said, he also has cardio every day, 6 days a week. He's got to do slow cardio, half hour to 45 minutes. Also, on top of that, a minimum of 2 days a week of super high intensity HIIT. So, Erensto, you loving those sprints?
I hate him with the passion.
From here to Kalamazoo.
Well, you know what? As he loses more and more weight, you know, they're going to be a lot easier. What did you start at 300 what? Or 300 and what?
16. 316.
Yeah, those sprints must have been pretty tough at over 300 pounds, that's for sure. But obviously you're down almost 30 pounds now, so that's going to make it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I can feel it already. All the anaerobic exercises are the ones that are killing me. The mobility ones. Yeah.
Now, Mark, you also are helping Tom Collins from Michigan. Is he here with us?
Correct. Yes, he's here.
Okay. Give it, Tom. How much weight have you lost so far?
I'm just about at the 20 pounds right now, Dave.
Wow. I see. I like the little Species Nutrition products I can see in the backdrop.
Oh, yeah. I got a represent product in the back. I got my RBT shirt. So I'm showing and representing and bringing it.
Absolutely. Now, 20 pounds is pretty significant for you because you didn't really have Erensto had a lot more weight to lose than you. How are you liking the diet, number one? And, you know, what do you attribute the biggest weight drop to?
Well, certainly I think to methodically dropping the weight, doing it with a proper diet program where, you know, I've been in the gym my whole life. Certainly being at 61, it's a little bit more of a challenge in some ways, but really following the diet to a T. I've got my macros completely dialed in. I watch them like a hawk. I make sure I eat at the proper time so the body can balance it all out on it. And it takes effort. Plus, you know, there's no shortcuts in anything to be successful. I actually go past. I do 30 minutes cardio in the morning. Then I'm in the gym for an hour, 6 days a week. I haven't missed a day. I don't miss a day. So it's between the diet and really putting the hard work in the gym. I'm an old gym rat, so the training in the gym, a lot of people want the results, but don't necessarily like to spend the time in the gym. And I'm the opposite.
That's right.
I absolutely freaking love to train. But it's not a stroll to the park at 61. I have to physically and mentally push myself, and I really enjoy that.
And I can see it in your face. You know, I know when people are dieting, when they're suffering, because I can see how their face gets sucked out. When they have the big puffy cheeks, I know that they're not really dieting that hard. But obviously, if you've dropped 20 pounds, you're doing something right. Now, let's go to Jennifer Lopez, our other coach. And Jen, talk to me about your clients and how they're doing on this diet.
My clients are doing really good with the challenge. The client that I have here today is Katherine, and she is a Sacramento, California police officer. She was having concerns about being able to make it home safely due to her level of fitness. And so we're getting her back on track, and we've got her in there with some stability and mobility training, along with muscle training, resistance training, and cardio.
And what kind of a diet you have her on?
I have her on a high protein diet. 1350 calories, I think, is what it is at this time. Mm-hmm. And she has a solid set meal plan that is geared to her own individual personal health. She used to be a diabetic. She has various different just stuff that I had to address within her meal plan. So, and her meal plan's helping with those things. So it's looking good.
Now, Katherine, I noticed you were in this. Were you in your squad car? I know you're in uniform there.
Yes, I'm in my car right now.
Okay. Now, one of the challenges I have to believe, because I have a lot of friends who are police officers, is that, you know, when you're in your car all day long, unless you completely prepare and bring your food with you, which a lot of my cop friends do that, you wind up stopping at places and eating foods you probably shouldn't eat.
Yes.
I'm sure that has probably been your history. Has it been hard to kind of refocus and say, okay, I got to pack my meals with me and I have to have that available, or I'm going to wind up going off the diet, so to speak?
It's actually been really easy, surprisingly. I told Jennifer that I'm okay with eating the same thing every day for a week. And that's easier for me with meal prep, because then I'm prepping one meal for breakfast, one meal for lunch, and one meal for dinner. And so on Sundays, I have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. So Sunday or Monday, I'll spend the whole day meal prepping. I have everything ready to go until Friday.
And that's the way to do it. It's all about preparation. If you don't prepare, you're never going to be successful with the diet. And it's like doing anything in life. If you're well prepared for what you're doing, you're not going to mess up. The worst thing you can do is if you miss a meal on a diet, and I tell people this all the time, you will cheat, because you will convince yourself, hey, I didn't eat all day. I can go to McDonald's, or I can go to Wendy's and get a burger and fries, because you know what? I missed 2 meals anyway, and I'm so hungry I can't wait a minute more, and I need something fast. And then before you know it, that burger and fries is not getting metabolized. You wind up storing that, and then you can wind up gaining weight even though you missed 2 meals, and now your hunger is through the roof because you've underate for the day. So if you have to be prepared, and you have to stick to the plan if you want to get the results. How much weight have you lost since we started?
I'm down 11 pounds.
Awesome. Now, when did you find that the most weight dropped off initially, or has it been starting to increase as the diet has gone on?
So week 1, I lost 5 pounds. Week 2, I lost 3 pounds. Week 3, I gained back 2. Last week, I had lost 4. And then so far this week, I've lost 1. So in the beginning, it's always that water weight.
Sure.
For me, my struggle has always been when I get to that point where the scale goes up. And I think it's not working. It's why even bother? It's not working. I'm gaining weight. Why am I going through all this for no results? And you just have to push through it. And then that following week, when I was down those 4 pounds, and then I bought 2 new pairs of uniform pants, didn't realize they were a size smaller. And I tried them on, and they fit perfect.
That's awesome.
So, and the old ones were actually getting really tight, where I thought I was going to have to go up a size.
Nice.
So it's not really the pounds that I look at. It's the inches that I'm losing and how I'm feeling.
Are you using your Species Nutrition Fiberlize?
Yes.
Have you noticed?
The first time I mixed it, I let it sit too long.
Oh yeah,
so I went and I took a drink, and it was like foam.
It was Jello. Yeah, it turns to Jello. You got to drink it immediately.
Now I see why there's a choking hazard with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to drink it right away after I mix it.
Absolutely. Well, you know what happens after you start using that for a few weeks? You start moving, waste out of your body at a much more efficient rate, and sometimes that's why initially, sometimes people get a little constipated or backed up from it, and then all of a sudden it works, and then sometimes that initial surge in weight is because when you go on any kind of diet, it's lower carb, obviously. And so a lot of people get constipated initially. And so sometimes when that happens, you'll see a weight, your scale weight will go up, but even though you're still losing body fat, and then all of a sudden your body kind of gets into a regular mode, you start going to the bathroom regularly, and then you'll see your weight start dropping again. So the fact that your clothes fit better is the best indicator that you've lost body fat,
Yeah. I couldn't see a difference until Jennifer did the side-by-side.
Right.
And I saw how the swelling in my belly was it was way down.
Yeah.
So
Jennifer,
that really helped too.
And Jennifer, that's one of the keys as coaches we always do. We make people take pictures even though they don't want to take the initial pictures because they think they look terrible, so that you can go back and show them that they really did lose weight even though they may not have thought that they've gotten leaner, right?
Yeah, she really thought that there wasn't a difference between her photos at all. And I was like, really? Because look here, they're very different. And it's a huge difference, very marked, you can tell.
Yeah, but I tell people that all the time, you have to take pictures because you'll forget how you looked. People think they look a certain way, and then they go back and look at the pictures and they're horrified by how they looked, and they realize how much they actually improved. Sometimes the scale doesn't go down. A lot of people too, when they start a diet, they hadn't been working out at all. Now they start doing weight training and they're actually gaining some muscle, right? I mean, while they're losing body fat. So that's something you have to take into account. James, what has been the feedback you've gotten from people, the fans, people watching the whole transformation transpire? I've gotten a lot of good feedback from the RX Muscle audience. What is on your end have been the feedback?
Yeah, super impressive feedback, because not everybody wants to show their pictures or wants to be, active on social media. So you get these messages about how these people are following along and so inspired.
Yeah.
And there's a great community feel. We have like a Facebook community and some other different resources. And I encourage anybody to join that. And everybody's kind of helping each other. There's never really any negativity. Everybody's really, supporting each other. And there's this great energy. And I think that people forget how many other people are in the same boat as them.
Sure.
They think it's just them. And then when they see all these other people that face the same struggles and same issues, and I'll give you just one example that you touched upon, that is one thing in all of these transformations I've done that's a big issue. You mentioned about somebody freaking out and like having McDonald's. There's always sort of a point where somebody comes off diet. And what happens is it's sort of a make it or break it point, because people do that and then they use that as an excuse to give up.
Right.
Well, I went and I had this large pizza. My diet's gone to crap. I might as well just give up. And then they go back to their old lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I try to encourage people, no. This is a blip in the road. This is one thing. And when that happens, when you come back on your diet, you're going to, obviously, if you've taken in a bunch of sodium and water and stuff, you're going to gain some initial weight. But it's not what you do in one meal that defines things. Just like you're not going to lose, you didn't gain your weight over, one night. You didn't lose your weight over one night. It's what you do the majority of the time. And I think that people get sucked into a thing where they come off diet or they struggle and then they give up. And I encourage those people, okay, you went off track here, get back on track and just, follow the plan. And I think that's really kind of the breaking point you see with people, and maybe an excuse that people use. So I really want to encourage people, look, if you came off track, maybe you're even lying to your coach and you went and you had ice cream last night or whatever, but you know what? Stay on track, because it's what you do the 90% of the time that really makes a difference.
Right. That's a very good piece of advice, by the way, but it's less relevant in this contest because it's a contest, and I think a lot of people are giving their hardest to it, and that's sometimes the motivation people need to stay on track. But I diet people on a regular basis, and you're right. I mean, life happens. Someone dies in their family, or one of their kids gets sick, and they just use it as an excuse, and they have a breakdown essentially, and they eat more than they should, or eat the wrong foods. And I'm like, that's fine. Life happens. Don't use it as an excuse, like you said, to continue eating bad. You didn't ruin the whole diet because you had one bad meal. So get back on track and start up again. So, well, I'm really thrilled with what's going on. I think when we hit the 6 or 8 week mark, we should get some before and after pictures up, because we'll be almost halfway through or about halfway through, and I want to show people's progress pictures so that people have some real life, visual evidence that this is working really well for our people who are doing this. And maybe we can get some people to submit some of the pictures who have been following along and show their progress as well, because that's also very motivational, because sometimes the second half of the diet is harder than the first half because you have less body fat to lose, and now your body is starting to feel the effects of, oh my God, this is harder than I thought. We still have 8 more weeks to go, and maybe I need a little inspiration. So seeing those pictures sometimes can inspire the other competitors to stick to their diet as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know you've been tagged in this. Species Nutrition has reposted a lot of pictures. If you come onto any of our social media, there's a ton of these before and after pictures. And it's amazing what can happen in 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, you're gonna put those together at the 6 week mark, and we'll put them on our update show in 2 weeks, so we can show our viewers who maybe don't know with the social media or don't have time to go over there. And but I'm very inspired by the whole thing. I love that people are helping each other and pushing each other to kind of be better than they were alone. And that it's that community that really helps people stay focused as part of some bigger thing than just themselves. And if this person can do it, I can do it too. And if I can do it, and when I have tough times, this person helps me. And that's why this whole challenge is so great. And I'm glad that everyone is getting great results from the Species Nutrition products. And I'm very proud that, to say that we put those up there, and I hold them in very high esteem as being, an instrumental part of the whole process. Any final words, James, or any of our coaches or competitors?
Yeah, I'm going to tell one thing that I tell all my clients all the time. I don't care if you fall down 1,000 times. What's important is that the 1,001st time you get up. End of story.
Absolutely. 100%.
And just to add to that, we have a couple more competitors that we're going to have on your show just to round it out. But I think people can see why we've chosen, this group. And what I love about it is you have people from such diverse backgrounds. You have somebody like Erensto here who people may not know this, but he doesn't have a house. Like his house is the truck. And he's having to make
He's sitting in his living room right now. Yeah.
And he has to make use of what's around him. So he posts these great videos of him running around in the parking lot of various truck stops and, using body weight things and whatever he can and working out in the back of the cab and, prepping his meals back there. So, again, it just kind of drives home the point that, people love to, complain about this or say they don't have this or that. And we have people that are making it happen no matter what. And I think you saw before the last competitors that we had on and this group of competitors, we have a really diverse group that somebody can relate to somebody in all of these people, different ages, different genders and different backgrounds and different things that they have to overcome. And that's what I love about this is it just allows you to kind of pull for somebody and get behind them and sort of their team and within that see what's possible within yourself and know that you can do it as well.
Amen to that, 100%. And I'm really excited once again to see the next set of updates because I know as usually the first 4 weeks is like kind of like a lot of water weight and people kind of just getting acclimated to the program. Once we get into the 6, 8, 10 week mark of the program, that's when we're going to really see some really dramatic, visual differences in people's physique. And so I'm excited to see that happen. For now, though, we're going to wrap this up. I'm Dave Palumbo with the entire Radical Body Transformation crew. Stay tuned in 2 weeks for a big update. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Okay.
guys.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Very good update.